Representing the business of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Manager Marty!
Thank you. You're far too kind. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, members of the Roll the Tape film crew, welcome to another edition, another episode of Roll the Tape podcast with Manager Marty. I'm your host, Manager Marty. Welcome. Appreciate you all being here this morning. For most of us here on the East Coast, the dirty South, Midwest, the West Coast, here in America. Other countries are probably very early or in the evening, but I welcome each and every last one of you. Come on in. Yes, we're going to have a great show today. Come on in. Yes. I'm so excited this morning. So glad to be here. So thankful for each and every last one of you, whether you agree with me or not, whether you like me or not. I appreciate all of the support and viewership that you all provide, all of the contributions, and I'm including your time and your monetary resources. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you all so much. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful for having a platform. Come on in, y'all. Let's go. You know we got to start the show off right. All the way from other countries, all the way from America, all the way from all the parts of the world. We all here. Yeah, come on in. Yeah, the Town Watch check-in is coming. It's coming shortly. Just come on in. Let's go. I appreciate all of you. I really do. I'm thankful. Yeah. Come on in. Welcome to everyone joining us live. I welcome each and every last one of you that's watching and listening on the replay of this live. If you are a spy, meaning that you're just over here to be nosy, or someone sent you over here. If you are a detractor of mine, if you are a hater of mine, I promise you that you are welcome. Come on in. I have some food that I want to serve you, so make sure you grab a plate before you grab a seat. Grab a plate before you grab a seat. I have some food that I want to serve you, some food for thought. Yeah, but before we do that, you know, we have to start the show off right. I told y'all the last time that when we come back live again, we're going to make sure that we started off right. And that's our Town Watch check-in. Now, this process is extremely simple. This is like an icebreaker. I've been doing this for a long time, the Town Watch check-ins. I haven't been hosting the Town Watch check-ins for months now. But we have new viewership, and I want to bring this back into the live broadcast. I want to reintroduce it to most of you that remember me starting this out a year ago. But it gets everyone actively involved in the show, and this is why I do it. You ain't gonna find this nowhere else. That's why I'm glad you're here. This is how simple the Town Watch check-in is. It's very simple. Everyone can participate, right? All you have to do is insert in the live chat where you are from and or where you reside. And I'm talking about any city, any state, any country, and any island, all acceptable. And what I will do in exchange of you inserting your geographical location in the chat and even in the comment section, if you're watching the replay of this live, I am then going to publicly acknowledge it. Now, the reason why I do Town Watch check-ins is because just like we are all from different parts of the world, we all have different opinions and we all have different perspectives. So with that, we can still be united in the boxing community, even though we're from different parts of the world, and even though we have different opinions and different perspectives, we can still maintain a united front. So with that being said, I'm gonna start it off first. I'm representing the state of Texas. Yes, the city of Arlington, Mansfield section of Arlington to be exact, Tarrant County. Stand up. They know what it is when we out there. But I also have to give an acknowledgement to my hometown, where I was born and raised, the great city of Philadelphia. Not the Philadelphia that's in the state of Mississippi. I'm talking about the city of Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love in the state of Pennsylvania. Come on in, y'all. Let's check on in. I promise you, this won't take but a few minutes. And if you're watching the replay of this live, guess what? You can also participate in the comments section below. And when I go read my comments, I'm going to publicly acknowledge you as well. Y'all ready? Come on, y'all, check on in. When you pull up in the parking lot for the show, I'm going to publicly acknowledge you when I see you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Who we got in here? Representing Wilmington, North Carolina is in the building. Orlando, Florida is in the building. Come on, y'all, let's check on in. I promise you, this won't take too long. I promise you that. We're going to get right on to the show. But first, I have to let you know that New Jersey, yeah, that's only about maybe an hour or so from Philly, but New Jersey is in the building. Come on, y'all, let's check on in. H-Town in the building. I see you. Yeah, come on, come on, come on, come on. 619, San Diego, California is in the building. Look, we got the East Coast here. We got the West Coast here. Anybody from the South? Anybody from the Midwest? Come on in, just check on in. Somebody is from the West. Somebody said 504. 504. I know what the 504 means. Yeah. I know where 504 is at. 504 is in the building. Fort Myers, Florida. Yeah, I see you. But Raleigh, North Carolina is also in the building. Come on in. Yeah. I know what the 504 is. New Orleans, come check on in. Yeah. And listen, here's the thing about it. It's hot outside in Philly, but the wind keep blowing every time I see the Windy City in my chat. Come on now, Cook County in the building. Chi-Town, Chicago, Illinois is in the parking lot. Come on and check on in. Baltimore, Maryland is in the house. Come on, y'all, check on in. Camden, New Jersey. Man, I used to work on the waterfront as a security guard 20-something years ago. Huh? Probably was longer than, yeah, it was about 25. Well, 25, about 25 years ago, somewhere around there. Camden, New Jersey in the building. Come on, y'all, let's check on in. I promise y'all, we almost done. I want everybody to participate. Come on and check on in. Yeah. Is that all? We don't have any more? That's it? We done? I want to know if we done. I don't want to miss anybody. I don't want to miss anybody's location. Are we done? We good? Can I get one more? Flatbush in the building. I see you. Can I get one more? Just one. Can I get one more check-in? And I promise you we'll start the show. Let's check in. That's it. West Orange, New Jersey just pulled up in the parking lot. Come on, y'all already know New York City in the building. I want to tell y'all something about New York real quick if y'all don't mind. New York City, believe it or not, New York City is my largest demographic of audience members on this show. Isn't that something? Y'all know New Jersey in the building, huh? Wichita, Kansas is in the building. Ooh! Yes, indeed. Listen, I want to double salute all of the members of the channel and supervisors of the Road to Tape film crew who is here live in living color. We have a goal that we want to set 10 super chats. All colors are welcome. All colors are welcome. I have something of value I want to add to you. Listen, if we can do our 10 super chat goal today throughout the live broadcast today, right? This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to host a Q&A. Carteret, New Jersey in the building. I see you. Just pulled up in the parking lot. I'm going to host a Q&A. Okay? I'm going to host a Q&A, but the Q&A is going to be related to the field and industries that I have expertise in. Okay? Is that fair? I think that's fair. Excuse me. Most of you already know that I'm certified as a tax practitioner. Most of you already know I'm certified as a credit counselor, and I've done webinars, hosted webinars, seminars all over the country. Not recently, I'm talking about years ago. I'm a big and huge advocate for financial literacy. Anything finances, we could talk about it. Q&A. You ain't gonna find this nowhere else. And I'm talking about real strategies that you can implement in your life today. When you change the way you think, you'll change the way you behave. Let me give y'all this. This has nothing to do with boxing, but I have a heart for people. Let me tell you something right real quick, and I promise you we're gonna move on. It's not about how much money you earn. It's about how much money you save. And I learned two things ever since I owned my own businesses after being certified. And I started this in 2018. I learned two things about how to change my lifestyle that's going to bless you. I had to change two things, ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, members of the Road to Tape film crew. I had to change my appetite for money and my attitude towards money. And ever since I changed my appetite and my attitude, that is when the financial blessings started to come. And it's not because I'm waiting for somebody else to do something for me. It's about changing the mentality that you have. We're going to do a Q&A because I already know the air fryer going to warm up, and we're going to exceed our goal of 10 super chats today. So I can't wait to host the Q&A. I'm talking about any questions you have regarding finances. I promise you, you will be blessed. Not today. I'm talking about on a different day. I'm going to schedule it. But right now, we got to get on with the show. Appreciate every last one of you. 989 just pulled up in the parking lot, too. Just want y'all to know. 989 just pulled up in the parking lot. We here. Double salute to my guy, Jeremy Austin. Thank you for warming up the air fryer. Thank you for plugging it in. He's a member of the channel, supervisor of the Road to Tape film crew. Thank you for your contribution and your support to the channel, Jeremy Austin, always. And of course, one of the biggest supporters of this channel. Got to give her credit. Every time, she jumps on this show, she knows her boxing. And there's not too many women in the YouTube boxing community as fans, that know their boxing. And she is one of them. And I'm talking about Jab Queen Boxing. Double salute to you, Ty, a.k.a. Jab Queen Boxing. She's also a member of the channel, supervisor of the Road to Tape film crew. Thank you for your contribution and your support. She says in the super chat, love and respect to the man with the master plan. Manager Marty, let's get into it. Turn the air fryer all the way up. And every time she tells me to do it, I always turn that air fryer up. Thank you, Ty. Appreciate you. And of course, my guy always in the building when he pull up. Shout out to him. Double salute to my main man, Pots and Pans, Jay Mills. Always supporting the channel. Thank you for the super chat and contribution, Jay. Jay Mills says, here's 1 of 10. Appreciate you. Man, listen, this show barely even started, and you see the support flooding in. Appreciate y'all. I really love y'all for real. And guess what? One thing about me, I make people feel the love. When you meet me in person, it's all genuine. I'm the same way I am on YouTube and off of YouTube. Same guy. All right, I might be a little bit more animated in front of the cameras. But I'm still animated. I'm still me. Double salute to my guy. He's a member of the channel, supervisor of the Roll to Tape film crew. He's always the first one in the classroom. My guy, all things. Appreciate your support, big dog. Always, man. Day one supporter too, by the way. All right, let's get into the show. Enough with the hugs, handshake, and Valentine's Day cards. Now, I don't even know where to start. How about I start here? And by the way, the link, I promise you this part, because you see it pinned to the top of the chat. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. But first, I have to give a plug where it is due to salute my friends and friends of the channel. And not only friends of the channel, but they are supporters of the channel. And not only supporters of the channel, but they're contributors and sponsors of the channel. So sponsoring this live are my guys at Courtler Manus LLC. Listen, they are personal injury attorneys, personal injury lawyers in the state of Pennsylvania and the state of New Jersey. If you need a personal injury lawyer, I'm telling you, they are the ones to hire. 267-457-4201, WeFightWeWin.com is their contact information. And of course, I'll have the banner just rolling at the bottom of your screen throughout the duration of this show. And of course, their logo is in the right corner of your screen. Now, I know where we can start at. We can start at Floyd Schofield Sr., the father of Floyd Schofield Jr., aka Kid Austin. I want to play you an audio of something that he said as recently as the other day. Puerto Rico in the building. Puerto Rico. Oh, remember that song, y'all? Double salute to the fans in Puerto Rico. I want to play y'all an excerpt, if I may, of something that he's one of the fathers I'm going to talk about real quick. But one of the things that perked my ears up when I heard Floyd Schofield Sr. talking, okay? I think it was on his it's really supposed to be his son's Instagram account because it says Kid Austin, but we know Kid Austin obviously don't run his own Twitter account or his own Instagram account, nor does he run any other social media handle that he has. It's typically his dad. And so I want to play an excerpt of a few things that he said. Double salute to another member of the channel. She just pulled up right in the parking lot. Good morning, Ariana. I see you, sweetheart. Now, let me play a clip of what he actually said. Let me see if we can find it and roll the tape on this guy. Yep, I found it. Hold on for a minute. You know what? I'm doing way too much talking. Don't take my word for it. Roll the tape.
Out there, the bull crap about Kid and Mason fight. All right. Number one, yes, we want to fight Mason, and yes, we will fight Mason, according to Golden Boy and them. But Golden Boy had bigger plans. So yes, Mason offered us $1 million, or their team over there offered $1 million for us to fight. But Golden Boy offered us a 5-year deal for $5 million. Guaranteed 5 years employment, guaranteed we'll be fighting for its title soon. What would you pick? Alright, so we got the Greg Hackett's and all them saying all that nonsense they don't know about. Oh, he ducked 2.5 now because I have $5 million on the table. A deal for $5 million on the table. And the team that's offering is saying nah. So I had a choice. Are we going this side for $1 million or we going this side for $5 million? And the $5 million, that's just the minimum. That ain't even everything. That's just the minimum. So y'all can believe whatever y'all want. I thank you to the fans that's been following us. We appreciate y'all. And I really don't like putting money business out there, but I figured I'd clear the rumors. Nobody's scared of no Mason. We look forward to fighting Mason. We shared the ring with them. Anyway, our next opponent in June is a good one. This is a test. I can't say who it is, but this is a good fight right here. All right? So I hope y'all tune in June. We fresh off the bench. This is our first fight back since November. And if this ain't a step up, I don't know what to tell y'all. But I gotta wait for them to announce it. But this gonna be a good fight. But anyway.
We've heard enough. Did y'all hear that? Let's make sure we do an audio check, shall we? Did you all hear that? Can I just get an audio check? Y'all know how we do on the show. Just yes or no. Did anyone hear that? With Floyd Schofield Sr. said, the father of Floyd Schofield Jr., aka Kid Austin. Did y'all hear that? Can somebody it only takes one person. It's just yes or no. Because you know StreamYard be always messing up the audio on my show. Did anyone hear that? No one heard that? Just a yes or no. Now somebody is telling me to play it back. Thank you, Tim Carey. Tim Carey heard it. Thank you, Steve Mega. What's up, Steve? Hold on for a minute. I got you right now. Oh, listen, double salute to my guy D1. He's a member of the channel, supervisor of the Road to Take film crew. YouTube is playing games with me. I already assigned the wrench for D1, and now D1 is telling me that he did not receive the wrench. YouTube has to stop this. They have to stop this. This is outrageous. What's going on? Everybody knows my channel on YouTube is shadow banned. That's no secret at this point anymore. This is crazy. I really... Hold on. Whoop, there it is. Hey, D1, we got him now. They finally let me go back on while I'm live. Thank you, D1. D1 definitely have a wrench. I'm going to play just a few parts of what Floyd Sr. just said, because a lot of things that he said really caught my attention, perked my ears up, and you know I have some questions for him right now.
I hope you're having a good day. I figured I'd address the comments and the news that's out there, the bull crap. Yeah, Mason, and yes, we will fight Mason, according to Golden Boy and them. But Golden Boy had bigger plans. So yes, Mason offered us $1 million, or their team over there offered $1 million for us to fight. But Golden Boy offered us a 5-year deal for $5 million. Guaranteed 5 years employment, guaranteed we'll be fighting for its title soon. What would you pick?
All right, I'm going to stop it right there. It's interesting to me that Floyd Sr. used the term we several times. He said, yes, we received an offer so that we can fight Abdullah Mason for $1 million. He said we. Did y'all hear that? He said Golden Boy Promotions offered us a 5-year, $5 million deal. So the fight with Abdullah Mason, who their team was reaching out to the Schofields and obviously Golden Boy for the 1 million to fight, they obviously turned that down to continue their deal with De La Hoya, 5-year, $5 million contract. I just wanted to make sure that we heard that part.
All right, so we got the Greg Hackett and all them saying all that nonsense they don't know about. Oh, he ducked 2.5 now because I have 5 mil on the table.
Stop right there. I'm gonna stop it there because that's really where I was getting at. He said the Greg Hackett's of the world. Shout out to my man, my guy from Philly, my homie, Greg Hackett. He said the Greg Hackett's of the world is talking about things that they don't know about, talking about we ducked $2.5 million offer. He said, nah, I had 5 million on it. So what I'm trying to get at is he keeps talking, referring to we, and then he start interchangeably using the word I when it was time to talk about the money part. And that's the issue that I have with everything that you heard him say. What does he mean, I? He's not the one fighting. He's not the fighter. He's not the professional boxer. His son is. What does he mean, we were offered to fight Abdullah Mason? He's not the one getting in the ring, taking punches to the head and to the body. He's not the one that have to sacrifice emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically to train day in and day out. His son is the fighter, the professional boxer. See, that's the part that bothers me about these fathers. Not all of the fathers, but most of them who have these sons that they bring into the amateur boxing programs all across this country, use other people's expertise as trainers to help train and teach their sons. And then when their sons are good enough, they take all of the credit as the father, as if they're the ones who trained, as if they're the ones who literally managed the careers of their sons. And then all of a sudden, the son goes to another level in popularity and fame and just a little bit more money. The father takes up all of the shine. You see more of the fathers in interviews. You see more of the fathers on YouTube platforms. And I'm talking about small channels, medium channels, and even large channels. When we talk about boxing media. You see these fathers all up in the videos dancing. You see these fathers disrespecting other professional boxers, even though they have never done it before. And if they have, they've had limited careers, but they're doing more talking than the actual fighter, the professional boxer. That's the part that bothers me, and we're going to speak on it right now. Hey, Floyd, is it about Kid Austin or is it about you? I wish Floyd Sr., with all that talking that he does, I wish one day he would click the link here and come talk to me. I have some questions I want to ask this guy. I mean, I really do. I mean, even Flatbush said it in the live chat right now. These guys won't click the link. They won't accept my invitation to come here so that I can talk to them and ask them some tough questions. Because the questions that I ask are actually answers that the fans just want to know. That's it. It's like when it was time to talk about the money part. You just heard him. He said, I took the $5 million dip. It's not about you, Floyd Sr., wife beater, woman beater. It's not about you. It's about your son, the fighter, the professional boxer. Now let's speak on this $5 million that he was talking about. First and foremost, Kid Austin have been locked into a deal with Oscar De La Hoya for a little while now. They didn't just sign with Oscar De La Hoya yesterday in Golden Boy Promotions. That's all I'm saying. And let's break down this $5 million, right? Kid Austin, as a contender, is not fighting once a year like a Ryan Garcia. Now, somebody might say, what does Ryan Garcia have to do with this, Manager Marty? Ryan Garcia has something to do with this because Ryan Garcia is also signed to Golden Boy Promotions. And Ryan Garcia, and we know this is all public record at this point, Ryan Garcia's purses are $1 million. And that's for pay-per-view broadcasts, competitions. You mean to tell me Golden Boy is paying Kid Austin the same amount that he's paying that he's paying Floyd Schofield Jr.? Absolutely not. The point that I'm making is Ryan Garcia has more popularity and sell way more tickets and pay-per-views than a Floyd Schofield Jr., aka Kid Austin. He's more proven, so he should get paid more. But Kid Austin is not proven. He's just a contender. In fact, if you break it down, Ryan Garcia can fight once a year and still receive a $1 million purse. You think Golden Boy and Oscar De La Hoya is paying Floyd Schofield Jr. $1 million for 5 years when he's only fighting one time a year? Absolutely not. At minimum, Floyd Schofield is actually going to fight maybe 2 or 3 times a year. He's still a contender. 2 times a year, at least. So that's really $500,000 per fight. If it's true, which is my next point, Floyd Sr., I challenge you to something because I know you listen to my podcast. And I know you do because you stole 2 of my talking points when you were talking about Snack and Shakur Stevenson. But I'm going to talk about that another time. The point that I'm making with you, Floyd Sr., because I know you're listening, and how else do we know that he listens to this podcast? It's because he threatened to sue me based off of something that he saw on this channel. Okay, now that we got that out the way, Floyd Sr., since you're talking about money, since you're talking about purses, since you're being extremely detailed with the actual numbers of $5 million of compensation for your son and you for 5 years from Golden Boy, show the paperwork. I'm challenging everybody that talks about purses. Show the paperwork. Hey, I don't care if you're a content creator. If you say that this particular fighter is going to make X amount of dollars, show the paperwork. That's my new challenge in 2025 and beyond. If you are a journalist or a reporter, I don't care if you Mike Carpenter, Dan Raphael, Michael Benson, Jake Donovan, I don't care who you are. If you talk about the fighters and you put their professional boxing contract obligations and their numbers that they're going to, quote unquote, be compensated for, show the paperwork. We don't go by hearsay on this channel because, as I quote, hearsay is heresy. Show the paperwork. So Floyd Schofield, Sr., if your son is really signed to Golden Boy under a $5 million 5-year contract, show the paperwork. You notice how all these people keep talking about money, including Bill Haney and them too, but they never show it in black and white. Show the paperwork. That's my challenge. If you're going to talk about, if you're going to be very specific about the numbers, show the paperwork. See, people are going to say, nobody's allowed, nobody's obligated to show the language in their contract. Well, then stop speaking on it publicly then. Show the paperwork. I know I'm starting to trend on YouTube again, like I always do. You know, YouTubers don't talk like me, and I get it. But I'm in the business, so I know what the numbers are. I'm going to let y'all keep lying. I know what the numbers are. You see? I know what the numbers are. Brian Norman Sr. does the same thing. I'm calling all of them out. You ain't going to find this nowhere else. Hey, you ain't going to find this nowhere else. That's why I'm glad you're here. Show the paperwork. If you're not going to show the paperwork of the compensation you're going to receive, then be quiet. Don't even speak on the persons. Because what you're doing is, let's say it is true, what you're doing is you're actually publicizing private information. So if you're going to do that, I'm just saying verify it. That's all. Hey, verify the information. Since everybody want to be number one as the father, the trainer, and the manager in their sons' careers, put the paperwork out there. Yeah, show the paperwork. You know what? We need more fathers like Vasily Lomachenko's father. We need more fathers like Bozy Ennis, Jaron Boots' father. We need dads like that play the background, that don't try to steal the shine from their sons, that don't try to steal the limelight from their sons, the professional boxer. Fernando Vargas. We need fathers like him. We don't need fathers like Floyd Schofield Sr. and Brian Norman Sr. and Bill Haney and Teofimo Lopez Sr. and Jose Benavidez Sr. I'm talking about in boxing, and y'all go tell them I said it. And if they want to talk to me, they can click the link. Yeah, they can click the link anytime and talk to me. Because I have some questions for all 5 of those dads I just mentioned. I have real life questions for those guys. But the point that I'm making is it's about the fighter. It's about the professional boxer. Floyd Sr. is talking about update. Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. And here's the issue that I have really with it all. Their sons are grown men. I can see if we was in an amateur boxing program, you know, USA Boxing. Most of you know I'm certified as a referee and judge. Oh, okay. I'm saying that for my haters because some of them forgot. What I'm basically saying is I'm very familiar with the atmosphere and the culture of amateur boxing all over this country and the world. But what I'm trying to get at is do that over there. But in the professional ranks, these sons are in their mid to late 20s and up and 30-something. They don't need their fathers to talk for them anymore. And guess what else is doing that bothers me? It's impacting the careers of the fighters in a negative way. He's talking about some updates. Floyd Sr., where was the update when y'all came back to America after your son was so-called sick and or poisoned in Saudi Arabia? Where was the update then? We still waiting to hear what the results was. What was his diagnosis? What was his prognosis? I'm just asking, where was the update then? When it was time to give a public statement about what happened and why Kid Austin didn't fight Shakur Stevenson? Where was the update? I mean, Floyd Sr. put out the little reel on Instagram of his son laying in the hospital bed in Saudi Arabia, but where was the update? Since we're talking about updates, that's all I'm saying. See, people want to pick and choose when they want to give an update. Show the paperwork. Y'all really signed a $5 million 5-year deal with Golden Boy? God bless you. That's great. Be thankful and grateful. But at the same time, show the paperwork since you want to publicize it. Hey, that's all I'm saying. Double salute to my guy, Gary. He's a member of the channel, supervisor of the Roll the Tape film crew. Thank you for your contribution and your support, Gary. Gary says this in the super chat. Salute, Manager Marty. We need them to hashtag show the paperwork. You see, I say all of these quotes and slogans, right? For merchandising purposes. And don't worry, in a few months, merchandise will be here for sale. The point is, show the paperwork. Show it. If you're not going to show the paperwork, we don't believe you. You need more people. We need answers. Hey, we need answers. That's all. Hey, that's all I'm saying. Now, speaking of answers, let's see if we can get some actual answers. Whether or not Jaron Boots Ennis will be fighting Teofimo Lopez. I got you, round one. I trust me, I got you. We do need answers on something. I'm gonna see if we can pull this up real quick. I'm gonna see if we can pull this up. Hold on, let me see something. Let me see if we can pull this up. Okay, now there was an interview that Fight Hub TV conducted with Eddie Hearn. It's right on your screen, you can see it. May 18, 2025 was the date it was published. And the host, Marcos, he asked Eddie Hearn a question. Matter of fact, he asked him several questions about Jaron Boots Ennis fighting Teofimo Lopez. Boots versus Teo. And I want to play what Eddie Hearn actually said. Okay? And then we're going to deal with it, and I do have some questions on it. And I also want to provide a professional perspective. You know what? I'm doing way too much talking. Don't take my word for it. Roll the tape.
Just want to get some updates on a few things. One, I heard you in the group huddle talk about negotiations for Teofimo Lopez versus Jaron Ennis. What's the latest on that? What's movement on that?
So we've been talking to His Excellency about Boots against Teofimo. I think originally it was more October. It could be around August time now. We like the fight. I mean, I think for Boots, after the Tudasian fight, he was really considering a move to 54. The Stanionis unification came around, and that's what he wanted to do more than anything. So we did that. He performed really well in that fight. And now it's like, do I stay at 47 or 54? What are my options? Can you get me another belt? And I'm like, well, right now, Brian Norman's on the missing list. He's disappearing to Japan for a fight. And Pacquiao's fighting Barrios. So, no is the answer. Okay, well, what have we got at 54? Then out of the blue, the Teofimo Lopez fight comes around. So it may not be a massive motivator to Ennis because it's just a defence, but it is a big fight. And obviously the money's good, the profile's good. So I think my answer is if Jaron stays at 147, I think there's a very good chance he'll fight Teofimo Lopez next. I think
Did y'all hear that? Did all of you hear that? Because the thing about it is Eddie Hearn said a lot in a very short period of time in this interview. And you hear him saying, you hear Eddie Hearn saying out of his mouth, you hear him. You hear him saying that Boots is constantly coming to him. What's next? He really, asking about potential fights. This is what Boots is constantly coming to Eddie Hearn, the promoter, about. Hey, I want to move up to 154 because obviously my division is stale, okay? And that's what he said after the Karen fight, the second fight, the rematch with Karen. And then Stanionis becomes available. And so now Boots says, okay, well, since he's available, great. I can fulfill my dream by becoming unified in the welterweight division. Eddie, go make that fight happen for me as my promoter. Line it up. Negotiate. I want Stanionis. I want the title. The Stanionis fight happens. Now, we know before the Stanionis fight actually happened, we know that Brian Norman Jr. and Sr. were on multiple platforms. I'm talking about before the rematch happened, on multiple platforms, talking about fighting Boots and being initiated in a negotiation from Eddie Hearn. Unfortunately, that was not the case. We know the real reason why that fight fell through. The negotiations broke apart. We know the real reason why. I exposed that when it happened in the fall of 2024. Now, fast forward. Boots is now unified as the 147-pound welterweight champion of the world. There's two issues here. Issue number one is that even when Eddie Hearn goes back for a fourth time to negotiate a deal with Brian Norman Jr. and his representation, well, it's been publicized now. And you know, if you watch my video yesterday that I produced and published, you will see clearly that Brian Norman Sr., who jumped on multiple platforms, forgot to tell you all that him and his son agreed to terms to fight in Japan against Jin Sasaki in June of this year. So with that being said, no matter what Brian Norman Sr. says on multiple platforms in the boxing community, particularly here on YouTube, the fight between Boots and Brian Norman Jr. is highly unlikely to happen, especially now. Why? Because next month, Brian Norman Jr. will be in Japan fighting Jin Sasaki. So now that we got that out the way, issue number two. There's another champion. Of course, Brian Norman Jr. is a champion, WBO, but now there is another champion, the WBC welterweight champion of the world, Mario Barrios. Mario Barrios, according to all these reports that have been circulating, will be fighting Manny Pacquiao, who's almost 50 years old, coming out of retirement for the third or fourth time. Now, there's a roadblock for Boots because now Boots cannot unify and become undisputed at this point because he won't be able to fight Brian Norman Jr., nor will he be able to fight Mario Barrios. So where should Boots turn? How many opportunities will Boots get to become undisputed? It looks very slim for him to even get any opportunities because the other champions have other opponents. Now, with that being said, Boots is saying to Eddie Hearn, these is Eddie Hearn's words, not mine, you just heard him, say, well, look, since that's the case, there's no point in me sitting around in the welterweight division that's stale and I can't become undisputed. Let me move up to 154, and then I will compete there. According to Eddie Hearn, the Teofimo Lopez fight get thrown into their lap. I have a general idea who is trying to orchestrate that fight and who initiated the conversation to Eddie Hearn for Teofimo Lopez to fight Boots. Yes, I'm talking about Turkey Al-Sheikh, but my point is that's a fight that fell into their lap, and Boots is like, well, look, it keeps me active. I mean, I want to move up to 154 to be competitive since I can't become undisputed in my division. If I have to fight Tio, fine. Like, he's acquiescing to it, fine. But at the end of the day, Eddie Hearn said, you just heard him, his words, not mine, it's a good fight, it's good money. Tio has a good profile. I mean, this is where we are when we talk about Boots versus Teofimo Lopez. Of course, you know, we have other people at 154 that will be even more entertaining. And I'm talking about fights when I say more entertaining. I mean, Boots versus a handful of fighters up there at 154 is extremely entertaining. Extremely. Good fights up there. So at this point, Eddie Hearn is saying, hey, Boots and Teofimo Lopez can fight sometime in October. He said originally it was for October. He said now it might be in August. So basically, between August and October, which I would definitely say somewhere in October, but Eddie Hearn, he's behind the scenes and he knows. And I say that because we're talking about the rematch between Tank versus Lamont Roach, right? Then we're in August, right? Then we're talking about Canelo and Terrence Crawford in September, right? So Tio against Boots, you don't want that to be overshadowed. Those fights that I just named, Tank and Roach in the rematch in August, and then Canelo and Terrence Crawford in September, you don't want those two powerhouses, those two faces of boxing to overshadow Jaron Boots when you're trying to build up his profile, build up his popularity, and obviously introduce him to an international audience in another country in Saudi Arabia, because that's where Eddie Hearn claimed later on in his interview that the fight will take place between Boots and Tio. It will be in Saudi Arabia, not here in America. So to me, it would be more likely to have that fight out in Saudi Arabia in October so that these cards won't be so saturated and the general public, the casual boxing fan, and even us, the hardcore boxing fans, don't have to be depleted financially with paying for pay-per-view after pay-per-view after pay-per-view, back to back to back to back. And even if you want to go in person to these fights, right? You want to go in person and support these fighters live, you know, to having to do airfare, lodging, food, the price of the actual ticket to enjoy the experience when you got a Tank versus Lamont Roach rematch, highly anticipated. Then you got a Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford fight, highly anticipated. You got two back-to-back cards right there. If those two fights do happen in those respective months that's been advertised thus far. And so that's something that we always have to look at when we talk about major fights. I'm talking about big fights, right? Obviously pay-per-view fights. So we'll see. Because me personally, I want to go to all three of those fights. I definitely want to go to the Tank versus Lamont Roach rematch fight. I definitely want to go to the Canelo versus Terrence Crawford fight, and I definitely want to go to the Boots versus whoever he fights. Like, I mean, Tio. I wouldn't really want to see him fight Tio, honestly speaking. I would rather for him to fight Mario Barrios, and I would rather for him to fight Brian Norman Jr. Me personally speaking, but I'm gonna go support Boots regardless. But the point that I'm trying to make is, you got 3 fights back to back to back, and they all on the zone. So this is good business for the zone. But these are 3 separate events. This is not all on one card, ladies and gentlemen, of course. So we'll have to just wait and see, and I think that the climate of what's happening in boxing, when we talk about good fights, I think they're slowly but surely starting to materialize, and I'm talking about big fights besides the Bivol and the Betterby fight. That was a big fight, right? Usyk and Fury, that was a big fight. But after those 2 fights, I mean, seriously, we haven't really seen a really big fight after that, because the last card that we saw, it was not that good. You know what I mean? So we have to see. I would like to know from you all in the live chat first, and of course in the comments section below, what is your take on Boots fighting Teofimo Lopez? That's what I want to know. All perspectives are welcome. All perspectives are welcome. I just really think it's unfortunate because Brian Norman Jr. could have got the fight with Boots. I'm talking about before they even signed to fight in another country in June to fight Jin Sasaki. And Jin Sasaki, and if you watch my video that I published yesterday, I put the evidence out there. Jin Sasaki told the public that his next fight would be against Brian Norman Jr. in Japan for the title. He said that in January of this year. January. So they knew before January of 2025 that they were going to fight Jin Sasaki. Of course, they fought Quavo, meaning Brian Norman Jr. Let me be clear. Brian Norman Jr. They already knew they were going to fight Jin Sasaki in 25 for the title. They wound up Brian Norman Jr. wound up fighting Quavo's first, but within 90 days, guess what? Boom. He's going to be fighting Jin Sasaki right after the Quavo's fight, who he just fought in March. Double salute to my guy. He's a member of the channel, supervisor of the Road to Take film crew, Mr. Gregory Quarterbaum. Thank you, Mr. Greg, for your contribution and your support. Mr. Greg says this in the super chat. Pretty easy for Boots, in my opinion. I would have to agree with that, Mr. Greg. And speaking of Mr. Greg, he's here live in living color in the background. Definitely going to let my guy on. Hold on for 1 second. Make sure we got... Okay, all the super chats lined up.
Good morning. How are you this morning? Sound like a little static.
There go static again.
Yeah.
There go StreamYard acting up again.
That's crazy. I just go ahead.
My microphone is on mute.
Okay, I can hear you though.
It seems like when I invite a guest on here, StreamYard want to keep messing the audio up. This is crazy.
I'm sorry about that. While they're doing you like this, we're gonna have to do an investigation of some sort. But I just came back in. I'm gonna step out in about another half hour. But I just happen to see. I realize now that you're on in the morning. So most time I'm not gonna be able to catch you. But tonight, the day I was, and I'm glad of that. But what I was alluding to, I think this is typical of how sometimes things happen in boxing. You know, you got fighters. In this case, you were speaking of Boots going to his promoter, saying, "What's up for me? We can't get this, we can't get that. So what can I get?" And so you take what you can get, and that happens quite a bit, as you know. So, but this is a fairly easy fight, in my opinion. It's a good fight, has a little profile, has a profile to it. But if Tio has any illusions that he's going to best Boots, um, I don't know what he's drinking. Had he never shown to me, at least, that he could break very easily mentally, like he did a few fights back when he questioned his own self whether he still has it. I forget what fight that was, but I think that was back when he was still fighting on ESPN. I never forgot that. I've never seen a fighter do that just openly, maybe when you're in your dressing room with your people, but openly ask yourself, question yourself whether you still have it or not. And that was telling to me. The fights that he's had has not been bad fights, but this is a step up for Tio as opposed to a step down for Boots. Boots is basically just like when you have to fight a mandatory almost. Sometimes the mandatory isn't somebody knows. Sometimes he's not that good. Other times they're going to surprise you, and I don't think Tio is going to be surprising, but I think Boots realizes I got to take the fight. Let me at least show off, since Tio does have a name and has had some one or two significant wins as well as the loss that he took. I'm sorry in a sense that this is how the game will go, but it's always been that way. Even in this era, there's still going to be situations like this where you got to take what you can get. This wasn't a bad take, however, if that fight even gets to fruition, because we still got to wait till it's formally announced. They get in the ring, do the face-offs and things of that nature. But for all practical purposes, I think it's a good fight for Boots in terms of the profile. I don't think Tio is going to bring him any real problems. I know some people don't agree with that, but they don't realize how talent works. Tio, in my opinion, will probably do more for Boots in terms of him showing some of his dimensions that he hasn't been able to show as much than anything. And that's good for Boots because then he can show off as well. I know he likes to showboat, which is okay. As long as you're winning and you're winning well, this will be another opportunity, in my opinion, that we're going to see that. He's going to make Tio look real, real silly, in my opinion. And Tio, of course, going to get frustrated, and he's going to try to, step up the game. And Boots, more than likely, Boots either is going to hurt Tio, and it'll be a stoppage. That's how I see it. I don't see that fight going 12 rounds. I don't see it even going past 10, to be quite honest. I think Tio is strong enough to stay in for about 10, and maybe I'm being harsh, and I accept that, but I don't see that fight going the distance. And I see Boots getting that out the way, establishing himself in the division that he's going to fight in. And hopefully if he goes up to 154, he goes up to 154 and he gets some good fights there as well, and possibly take on the top guys in that division. Because sooner or later, you're going to have to see them. You either going to some of the guys up there either going to have to stop fighting, and the two of the main guys, of course, is Terrence and Spence, which I don't even know if he's going to fight again, but nevertheless, I see Boots going through some changes on the business side, which we already see that, but ultimately, if he stays in, hangs in, if Eddie does a good job of putting him in these fights and getting these fights, whether he pursues them or whether somebody else comes to him and wants to fight Boots, I think that'll be good for him. I think also, since we're talking about Boots, I wish when he was with Showtime, they had used that particular platform for him to market his image. They didn't. They should have had him, even if it was for free, at the booth when there were fights on Showtime that he wasn't on, doing a little color commentating, and see if he's good at that. His people should have tried to get him on some of the other Showtime programming as the guest in some kind of way, be it the series or a movie, anything that puts a brighter shine on his image and who he is and what he does to bring new people in. And I think maybe they tried it. I don't know, but it doesn't seem that. But you got to take advantage of those things for marketing and branding. And once again, here's Boots with Eddie trying to get fights, but you got to do more than just the fights. While Eddie takes care of that part, you have to also put your name and your face and your image anywhere that you can. And maybe they will start doing that. Maybe somebody that's close to him, maybe you, if you know him, say, listen, you need to get some commercial endorsements, even if it's local. You need to do this. You need to do some of these things. Maybe if you had and I said all this before, if you had a charitable foundation, maybe push that to the forefront and people will also know who you are as well. So you have to do more things as a fighter than just fight and train. And Boots, has the talent. I hate to see that talent go to waste, so to speak, that because nobody has seen him fight enough. So I wish that he would do a little bit a lot more work, I should say, and promoting himself and branding himself so people can pay attention to him, at least come to know who he is. I said the same thing about Crawford. They had a good start for a short period, then it fizzled out. And you can't do that. You have to do the work. So hopefully if he happens to watch your channel, hear me or somebody else say that, maybe they'll start doing more of that as well. But that's how I see that fight going. And I hope Eddie recognizes that he has to do a little bit more for Boots as well. I know it's hard, but that's what promoters are supposed to do. They're supposed to do everything that they can to bring in the audience, as you say, bring the cars, the broads, and everything else, which is what you're supposed to do. You have to make fights an event again. And I said it last night that there's only 3 really great promoters that this country recognizes right now, and only one of them was actually in boxing, and that was Don King. Don King, you can debate his ethics and some of the things that he did with Tyson and other fighters, but you can't deny Don King promoted those fights. Don King made most of his fights events. And that's what you need again, because you can't just rely on the site fees from the network, since most of them have stepped out of boxing anyway. You have to make fights events where people want to get dressed up, go to the fights, where they're excited about the fights. But you don't do that if you just wait for the networks to give you a site fee, a sponsor to give you some money, things of that nature, and hope that the fighters, while they mouthing off at each other on YouTube, will do it. You got to go the extra mile. You got to do those tours again where you take them to the major markets. You have to find a way to get them on the daytime TV morning shows. Things like that you still have to do, and you still have to work at doing it. And so we got a nice talent again, because I think the guys who get ready to phase out, including Crawford, they'll be gone probably in about 2 years. You got Boots and the other guys coming up. What are they going to do to keep it alive, keep themselves alive in terms of being a name in the sport? And how hard are they willing to work? Working is something that a lot of these young guys don't do enough of. And I'm not saying that they don't train, but I don't think they get the kind of training they need. But they have to work on people wanting to see them, not people talking about them or making fun of them or talking about how pillow-fisted they are, how their father is doing all the talking, or how you run in your mouth, but then you're not doing what you say you're going to do in the ring. They really have to promote themselves on a larger level than what they are, and not just wait for the promoter to do the work. Let the promoter do his job, but you do yours as well, because at the end of the day, when you're gone, the promoter's still working. He still has a stable of fighters. You just have you and the people that you feed, and you want to do as well as you possibly can. Because why are you taking punches, getting beat up, and sacrificing so much if you can't maximize how talented you are and how great you can be? Well, you have to do that by going those extra miles, be it in the ring or outside the ring, and that's what Boots should be doing. Why, if if this fight is being made, I would turn it into something. Whether I say Boots will easily beat Tio or not, that's not the case. As far as Boots is concerned, he has to make this an exciting fight. He has to talk this fight up. He has to go everywhere he can to say, this is what I'm doing next. And I need all of you to come by pay-per-view, come to the fight, tell your friends about the fight, have the fight parties, because I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to show out. I'm going to be entertaining, because boxing is entertainment. And there's packages that come with that. You just can't be a great talent. You also have to do some other things so people can see what a great talent that you really are. So, I don't want to talk your ear off on this, but I really think that would help not just Boots, but some of the other fighters as well. You just don't just sit around and wait for something to happen. You have to go out and make it happen and do the things that you think will be beneficial to you. Now, I didn't see what else you were talking about, because I just happened to turn on it before I left out.
Floyd Schofield getting all the shine. He did an update talking about money and talking about him instead of his son. What's your take on fathers in boxing that's getting more shine than the fighters?
I think it doesn't help the fighter. Yeah, you can become known as the son of whoever the fighter is, but it's not helping the fighter. See, if I could see if you were always with your father and he's talking first, and then he steps back and say, go ahead, tell him what I'm talking about, and do it that way. That might be a good way. But I don't think it does anything for the fighter's ego, that my dad got to always act like I'm a little boy, because some people will see it that way. I don't think it helps the people who want to maybe be involved, get in the Floyd Schofield business, so to speak, because of his son, because you don't know what it is that you really have in terms of the son, because the father's doing all the talk like he's the one fighting. And maybe he does want to fight again. I'm not certain of that, but I don't think it elevates the son, because we got three fathers who are somewhat overreaching with their sons, and Bill Haney is the top of the list. Then you got Floyd Schofield, and I think to some degree Keyshawn's father as well. But I like fathers being with the sons as they move up in their career. I think that's always a good image. I don't like the fathers seeming to be interfering, seeming to be in the way, seeming to be addicted to the attention that will come his way when fight. Yes, when his sons are going to be fighting. That's the thing. That's the problem to me. And if they don't see that, if you don't like the father, you don't like his antics, you don't like how he talks, you don't like what he says, how it will reflect badly on the son. At one point, using Devin as a example, I still like Devin, but Devin was being promoted in a way that was very good for him. At one point, he had the image, they didn't capitalize on that, and somehow they decided that they want Devin, be a boys from the hood and all that other kind of talk that's very popular, of course. But what has it really done for Devin's image and how people see him now? Where are the side deals? Where are the marketing deals? Where's the additional revenues that he could get from commercial endorsements and so forth? And I think some of that didn't happen because of his father. His father should have been out there taking him to talent agencies who could put him in different kinds of venues, particularly when he had a lot of belts. That's when you want to capitalize on it, but that takes thinking. It takes planning. It also means You can't be running from station to station doing all the talking, starting arguments with people when you really should be making sure your son gets every opportunity to benefit from his talent of being a fighter. And it's when the fathers don't think like that, you get what we have. We're talking about the fathers instead of the sons. We're talking about what didn't happen. We're talking about Devin's not getting proper training. This is just my opinion. I don't think Devin's getting the kind of training that he needs, and that he's not being taught enough, because he doesn't have. I don't think he has enough people he can really rely on for answers who are going to be honest with him. I think their method of going from promoter to promoter to get the guaranteed money, get it very quickly, that's how they've been operating, as we've been seeing. But we don't see him being elevated, and that should be, because Devin does have talent, but his talent isn't being developed like it should be, because I guess because his father's still training him, or they haven't found the right combination of fighter, trainer, and so forth. So, but with Floyd, some of the few things that I've heard about Floyd Schofield, it's not bad, it's not good, but it still reflects badly on his son. And because his son is who we should be focusing on here, once again, we focus on his father. Why? What is his father doing? His father's not a great promoter. His father apparently is an okay manager, that Floyd is still in this game and we talk about him. But in today's world of entertainment, people really want to be dazzled. They want you to be spectacular, even if you don't have that talent. But at least they want to see you attempt to be that kind of fighter. And the father has to think about that. What more can I do for my son while I stay back in the background and make sure all the wheels are turning correctly, making sure that he gets pushed forward, making sure he gets favorable press, making sure he's in front of people who gets in front of other people. Maybe I need to, stop for a minute and have him do things outside of boxing that people can see him do. But I don't know if they ever think that way. I think they're just trying to get what they can get as fast as they can get, because of course you can get hurt in training and your career can be over. You can get hurt in one fight and your careers can be over. So there seems to be a sense of, let me hurry up and get as much money, and then you miss a lot of opportunities if you don't think long term. And a lot of the guys are not thinking long term. That's how I'm seeing Floyd Schofield and any of the other fighters who aren't thinking about their sons first and themselves second. I'd like, at least with Boots, his father is sort of low key. His father's, no pushover. You can see that, but he's not trying to overshadow his son. It's just now what they need to do. Again, the father. I'm assuming the father is the trainer, is the manager as well. I don't really know who's managing him, but maybe somebody knows a father can shoot out some of these ideas. Get your son connected to CAA, which is a talent agency, or any talent agency. So his image and the things that he probably is doing things in his community, but do we know about it? No. So that stuff be out there as well to give a complete or a broader version and image of who we're paying to go see. Those are kind of things these fathers should be doing, who have high profile fighters. If it happens to be their sons, they should be doing more of that. Let you see, here's the kind of guy my son is. He's not just a fighter. He does this. Oh, my son is over here on this show. My son is over here on this show. My son is helping this guy. That helps a fighter's image. It always does. It helps any kind of person who's an entertainer. It helps their image to see that you're not just taking, you're giving a little something back as well. And you have other talents that are worth looking at and worth enjoying. But until the fathers get that kind of thinking in their heads and then start implementing it, that's what we get.
I have to agree with everything that you said, Mr. Greg. Double salute to my guy, Lucky. Thank you for your contribution and your support to the channel, Lucky. Lucky says, my money is on Teofimo. And I don't know if he's being controversial or not, but He believed that he's going to put his money on Teofimo Lopez beating Jaron Boots Ennis. And I know that I would have to see what his perspective is. I would love for him to join. Not today. We're going to come back live and live in color another day on this topic so that the fans would understand what Lucky means when he says that his money is on Teofimo. Love for him to join it. Even you're laughing about it, Mr. Gray.
That caught me by surprise.
Yeah, yeah. You know,
How
to each
you
his
doing,
own.
Lucky?
To each his own.
Yeah.
And listen, I will be back here live and live in color tomorrow morning, 9:00 a.m. sharp Eastern Eastern Standard Time. Ladies and gentlemen, join me live, live in color tomorrow. Mr. Greg, if you can do us the honors, give us your last 30 seconds, man. Close us out on the show if you can. Thank you.
Hey, the last 30 seconds I got for you all is not so much about boxing, but it's about all of you. Enjoy your day. Do something for someone. Let people that you love know you love them. Just call them up, say, I just want to tell you I'm thinking about you and I'm ready to go to work. Or do something that moves you a little bit forward to whatever goals you're working on at this particular time. It doesn't have to be something big. Just do something that's going to benefit you and the people that you take care of, more important than anything else, and be the kind of man and the woman that you want to be. And it's one step at a time. But enjoy this boxing. I do, for what it is. And I'll say good afternoon to y'all, because it's time for me to go take care of business as well. So I say thank you, Marty, for letting me come on. I'm glad I caught you this time. Now that I know it's 9:00, I'll try to check when I can come on at 9, because I always enjoy talking with you. That's it for me.